What my mama say, what's going on? Yep.
You should be loud.
Push the middle.
I can't see.
Yo, what up, beautiful people? I said we wasn't playing out here in this joint. Yo, we in the building. Eljay Eccles here. I want to welcome y'all to our podcast. Y'all got my favorite person. One of my favorite people in the world.
She's
Real
talking
talk.
about me.
I'm talking about her.
It's me.
I'm talking about her. I'm talking about the one and only. This my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. What up, world? That's my dog. Listen, let me introduce to the world. Y'all know I'm Eljay Eccles. Y'all see it. But let me introduce to the world who was very, very important in my life. And we have put together this vision. We talked about this. Man, you was still living up in High Point, right?
Yes. So that was over 2 years ago.
It was over 2 years ago, right? So we've been talking about this podcast, what we want to do, some things that we want to talk about. So I want to introduce everybody to my friend. We've been friends since I was 11 years old, man.
But we only 21.
Let her tell it. We only 21. All right, let me introduce to the world Miss Carrie Coleman at this joint. What up, man?
What's going on?
Hey, listen, we in the building. We out here. Let me tell y'all how important this person is to my life. Y'all know the story, right? Everybody know my mom passed. Carrie was living up in High Point. She came down, visit on it as the journey proceeded to my mom passing away. Carrie was on the phone with me, and I called Carrie. I said, Kay, she gone. Carrie got off work. I promise, High Point is like, how far away?
It's a little bit over an hour.
Carrie made it to Charlotte in what felt like was 30 minutes.
And
okay?
I made a couple stops. I came.
But what I'm saying that to say, you got to be able to have people with you, man, that rock with you, that support you, that you can trust, you can lean on, and you can have real conversation with.
That part.
Right? And so what the objective that we're doing here is, we all know, me as a preacher of the gospel, my friend is going to only enter into the church for anything that I have to do.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we got one side of the table that, can bring biblical real life stuff to the table. And then you got Carrie.
Wait a minute. I feel like I deserve more than just Carrie.
Because I want you to talk about it.
I don't know. I literally am just Carrie.
You're not just Carrie.
Yeah,
What's your perspective?
My perspective is a lot of different things. So, yeah, you're going to get both sides of a thought process when you ask me a question. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to give you the pros and cons. I'm just, And
we're just here. It's just real conversation. Sometimes we don't know in a world, how to have conversations and be able to hear people's perspectives and even being able to find common ground. So in that is what we want to present. Real relevant conversation from perspectives that can be the same or very different sides of perspectives.
Right.
But being able to have that real conversation changes the dynamic of how we approach things, right? So that's the biggest piece that we definitely want to talk and present to the world for sure. So it's episode 1. We're going to dive into reconciliation momentarily, but I got to get some shout outs real quick to out in California, there's been a lot going on out there with the wildfires. So definitely want to send prayers of hope, prayers of comfort to the families that lost their homes out there, to the first responders that's out there fighting, those that were incarcerated that was going out there and fighting as well. Those fires, definitely sending prayers out there to those families and hope. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I can't even imagine what they're going through.
Yeah, that's deep.
So sending very much positive energy, positive vibes, healing energy,
positive
recuperation
vibes.
energy, baby. Like they gonna get it back. You know what I'm saying? What they lost, they'll get it back twice.
There
okay?
we go. That's what I'm talking about. What they lost, they gonna get it back. Real talk.
Absolutely.
That's real talk. But now I wanted to bring something to the table, Kay. Like, us being able to have conversation. And the reason why I wanted to start as it's titled Reconciliation, dealing with being able to reconciliation and dealing with unforgiveness or forgiveness, right?
Okay.
The story starts, I was thinking, and I was like, man, I was talking about 2025. We finna make this our year.
Yeah,
bro.
period.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
We not finna do nothing. This is our year.
Bro, this our year
Literally.
to make it do what it do.
Literally.
Like, we literally have no time for anything else. And I said to myself, you know, as I was talking last year, like, last week, like, what are some of the things that kind of hinder us from moving forward?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's in life, whether it's in the things that we do, whether it's in relationship with people. Like, what is some things that it feel like we're constantly moving, or we're achieving certain things in life, but we're not really achieving things that we really want to do, and it doesn't feel like it's fulfillment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And the first thing that came to my mind was like reconciliation, relationships, and people being able to go in and reconcile. Y'all give me 1 second because my Facebook is upside down.
Oh, you upside down.
I got some people working in the background for me. So
Shout out to production.
Shout out to production. You know what I'm saying? We got production team on deck. We're gonna go ahead and
okay, there we go. We right
there we
side
go.
up.
We right side up.
We right
side up.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, shout out Facebook, shout out Instagram, shout out Facebook over here with Kay. You know, thank y'all for tuning in. We really appreciate you taking out the time in the evening. But yeah, I was wondering, like, how do, you know, we, you know, for us in the church world, anytime it's a new year, we go in and we declare this is our year. You know, the prophetic word come forth, the people declare it, and this is what's going to happen in your life, and all of these other good things. But it's, to me, I feel like it's much more than just a word that is spoken and you think that all of a sudden it's going to happen. It's some work that got to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's some kind of work or something that has to be done in order for your life to really move in a direction that is fulfillment.
Absolutely.
And one thing that I thought about was, we don't really deal with forgiveness like we supposed to.
I mean, when you say we,
well, I'm just saying, like,
I get it though. As a whole,
yeah,
as a whole human race,
or as a whole like society,
right?
We don't know how to deal with forgiveness or deal with the unforgiveness that maybe we have in our hearts, and we don't know how to. I'm gonna say it like this: we don't know how to reconcile within ourselves first.
Right. That's because people lack accountability.
You said that people, what happened? Say that one more time.
People lack accountability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So people lack accountability.
Yeah.
People lack the fact of looking at themselves in the mirror first.
Right. Absolutely.
And dealing with self first.
Absolutely.
And then being able to deal with everything else around. I think a lot of times, and you could correct me, is that we think that forgiveness starts with the person that we need to forgive.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. The problem is that people want an apology from, you know, people who may not be capable of giving it to them, or people who don't even like. What I've realized in my journey is that a lot of people in their minds don't realize the wrong that they've done. And it's because their perception of anything that's happening is their reality. So regardless of how it made you feel, if they don't see it that way, it's no way to, you know what I mean? You can't force someone to see things or to experience things from your point of view.
From your point of view.
And that's what people have to stop, you know what I mean, trying to do. Like, stop trying to make somebody, like, if they don't get it, they don't get it. But you have to be ready and willing to walk away and move on for yourself.
Yeah. And the thing, y'all, transparent moment real quick, and they saying I need to fix my microphone. What I need, production is saying is my microphone is not right somewhere.
Because on this one, is this Facebook?
Is this better? Yeah, that's Facebook.
That's the book of face.
That's the book of face.
Oh, put it right here, like under the directly. Yep, put it right there.
Oh yeah, that worked.
There we go.
There we go. That worked. It still got me a little covered up, but this worked right there.
That's how you sit in. Yeah, I wish y'all could see production real quick. Production said, raise up.
Hey, listen, they told me to sit on the pillow. Because I'm small, bro.
Because you're small.
You do know you ain't that much taller than me. But y'all excuse me for 1 second. We're going to come back to...
Oh no, we getting all this raw footage, sis.
Oh, yeah.
We getting all this raw footage, baby.
Listen.
We gonna watch you sit on a pillow, okay?
All right, bam. There we go.
So now you're a little bit taller than me.
I'm a little bit taller than you. All right, that works. All right. But nah, like you said, man, it's people perceptions, and on the flip side of it, we feel a way, or it made us feel a way. and we're expecting to go to the person who made us feel away,
right,
and them to really be like, oh yeah, you know what, I was right. But the reality of the matter is that doesn't happen. And a lot of times our journey to forgive and our journey to reconcile, really, we put it on other people.
And they got nothing to do with them. No, it ain't got nothing to do with them, honey.
We put it on other people.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The other thing is we looking for somebody to come in and apologize to us for something that they may not ever feel in their heart of hearts that they did wrong.
That's because we give them too much control of our happiness. So that emotion, that happiness, that sadness, that all of those things, those don't come from anybody else. You can experience happy times with other people, but you know what I mean? Like, other people can make you happy, but that core happiness, that comes from within yourself. And people have to start taking a step back, looking within themselves, and then being able to move forward and finding that space where someone can share your happiness, not give you happiness.
Right. Now, and I like that. She said, share your happiness, not give. You deep over there. She said, share your happiness, not give you happiness. And that's a big difference. And the biggest piece is, how do it impact our relationships? Especially some of the most important relationships that we have. Like, just quick story, right quick. And this is something, as I was thinking about it, it came to mind. Like I said, and not to keep hovering on it, but a lot of things came to light for me when I lost my mom, right? But I also remember...
Pause.
Okay.
You harp on it as much as you want.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's your process.
Hey, appreciate
you. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. That's your process.
I appreciate you. So one thing that came to mind was an incident that happened many, many years ago. I probably was in my 20s or so with my mother, right? My mom had at the time.
Can we shout out Joyce Ann real quick?
Joyce Ann.
Shout out Joyce Ann.
In heaven, looking over her children, looking over us. If she was here, we already know what she would be saying, because my mama talked mad junk about me and Carrie. First of all, I'm not going to tell y'all the mad junk that she talked, because that's our business.
It ain't y'all's business.
She talked mad junk about us, but she knew what the relationship was.
Right, absolutely.
But the piece of it, there was an incident that happened. And my mom, she was in the hospital. And the incident that happened between myself and my mother hurt my feelings. Like, it hurt my feelings to the core, where I called my best friend. Excuse me, you'll be okay, buddy. I called my best friend. She came and picked me up from the hospital. And the only thing I could do is lay down in the back seat and cry. Right? That's literally the only thing I could do, because the way that I perceived the situation is, I was trying to be of an assistance to my mother at the time, where she was going through a health crisis at that time. I think she had a stroke in a hospital. She was dealing with insurance. And the way that my mother handled situations was completely opposite from me, right? I needed all of the information before I could dive into a situation and be able to figure out how to maneuver through it.
Right.
My mama told me, I don't never want your help again. Like, she went in. I ain't gonna get into the details. She went in, and the result of that hurt my feelings.
Right.
My feelings were hurt, right? And then what did it also do is, because I already was in the process, I literally took a step back from my family, from my sisters, and I had to go through my own process, right? But I had to process me.
Right.
I had to process my feelings. And now, how did me and my mom eventually start back talking? Because I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have anything. And it was my mother that said, enough is enough. My mom came and sit outside the house that I was living in. She didn't know what apartment it was. She didn't know any of that. And she sat outside in her car and said, I know my daughter in here somewhere, and I'm gonna stay here until it's time, till she come outside or whatever.
Absolutely.
And I went down and we talked. She took me to the store. I didn't have a phone at the time and all of this other stuff. But I just remember, by the time that I spoke with my mother, I had done shedded so many tears of the pain that I had developed over the years just as a child, right? And it wasn't like my family was a bad thing or anything was going on. We had a rift or any issues. It was just a reality, like, our family impacts how we are.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And how we perceive, whether or not as a child we're perceiving situations correctly, or maybe we just don't understand situations. But it took me through a moment to just be like, I need this to myself.
Absolutely.
And then when my mother came back, it made it easy for me to be able to maneuver through what we had to talk about.
Right.
But not one time did I bring the situation to my mama. My mother passed away even without us addressing that.
So
why?
How did that make you feel?
I felt okay. And the only reason why I felt okay is because I came to a reconciliation in myself that I needed something from my mother.
Okay.
I needed something from her to a point to where I could either do one or two things. I can hold this over her head and not ever until she acknowledges it and not deal with her, or I can deal with my mother from a state of which I can control.
Right, absolutely.
So I'm healed, I'm navigating it. I no longer am holding you responsible of the offense.
Right.
I'm holding you responsible for what I need as a child.
Right.
And what that reconciled in me is I'm not going to never ask this from you. It just taught me how to deal with people.
Okay.
And when I say it taught me how to deal with people, it taught me how to deal with my mother from a standpoint of how do I let you love on me? And how do I teach you how to love me the way, but I know what boundaries and what I can and cannot do.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But the reconciliation was about me.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the fact that is she going to ever acknowledge that she hurt my feelings?
Yeah, because I mean that wasn't her intention, and like that's just one of those looking at it from both sides of the table. You felt a certain way, but you don't know what she felt either.
Right.
So she's sitting in this hospital, helpless, cannot necessarily do or move the way she did prior to her being there. So now she's dealing with a whole host of feelings that she's never felt before, experiences she's never had before, and it's difficult trying to navigate those feelings when you are in a state, especially someone who is an alpha female like Joyce Ann Bangs, baby. Okay. Right. Joyce Ann was an alpha. She controlled every room that she walked in. And it wasn't, like one of those, it was just her natural energy. She commanded every room that she walked in. And so for somebody who was an alpha in life and then getting older, getting closer to the end of, their physical realm, like you have to kind of process, and think about what they're dealing with and also remove yourself from the situation. So what happened with that was you took it personal, like it was about you. It didn't have nothing to do with you. It was about her.
I love it.
So I feel like what your process looked like was just removing yourself, realizing that, maybe it wasn't about me. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe I took it personal because I felt a certain way, but then there's a lot of I, and we have to think about what she may have been experiencing in that moment.
Right.
What she thought about, what she was feeling. And, when that's just, perception is reality. Perception is reality. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks in a moment. It's all about what you perceive to be truth, and that's a fact.
Nah, and you are 100%. Plug in right quick. Again, I want to tell everybody, thank you for logging on. We appreciate you. Please share. Please like. We're going to get you somewhere to subscribe to. That's coming soon. I got a whole lot of kids popping up on my Carrie got kids.
Instagram.
But I appreciate your time and your energy and the efforts that you're putting into it. We appreciate the support so very much. All right. But no, you're 100% correct, Kay. Is that I think a lot of times we that is one piece where we don't look at it from both sides of it.
Right.
We immediately look at the effect. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if you got unforgiveness or how do you reconcile relationships or any of that, what up, Yvette, how do you reconcile any relationships that you're dealing with? It's really more of taking a step back, like you said, removing yourself out of the situation and just putting things in the correct perspective.
Right.
Okay? Putting things in the correct perspective. Production, they can't hear on IG. You might have to turn it up. Yeah, putting things into the correct perspective, but also learning how to deal with people out of a healed state.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I dealt with my mother out of a state of the relationship is important.
Right.
I can't expect XYZ from her because her perception in that moment was what it was. Right. So I dealt with her in a manner that it was best for me. And my mama, she wasn't affectionate until, she was affectionate towards her grandchildren. And I couldn't stand it.
Baby, that's confidence all day. But I'm not a toucher either, baby. Don't touch me. Listen, don't touch me.
Listen, my mama was not affectionate. I remember, right before she passed, I bent my head down and she kissed me on my forehead. And one of my sisters was like, "Why mommy kiss you on your forehead?" And I said to her, I said, because I'm getting from her what I need.
Yeah.
I showed my mother how to love me the way that I needed.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
then it also required me to respond to my mom in a way to where she could receive from me.
Absolutely.
And then give it back to me. But that's
go.
the issue that we don't have in relationships, where sometimes we still have to deal with people who have broken our hearts.
Yeah.
You still got to deal with people
Yeah.
who have broken your hearts. You
Yeah.
still have to deal with people who you love deeply,
Yeah.
and you have to see on a constant basis. But it's really about how you maneuver through your own you that brings that reconciliation in self first.
Right.
And removes the responsibility on, you owe me an apology.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because guess what? I apologized for you. I apologized to myself for feeling the way that I did when someone can only give you what they have the capacity to give. So the apology that you want somebody to say, you're not always going to get. But I always get an apology. I apologize for reacting in a way that was outside of who I was dealing with. And that's what it's all about. You have to know your audience. You know what I mean? You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know those people and how they present themselves, how they give love, how they receive love. You got to know all of those things. Once you know all of those things, it allows you to move accordingly.
And the thing too is not even just focusing on people, but that's why the biggest piece it starts within self, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now you got to realize, I think, now this is just my opinion, but I thought, when I take a step back and I empty all my hurt out, all the offenses that I have felt years after years, whether it was in church, whether it was on a job, whether it was friendships, whether it was relationships, once I emptied that out, it was one of those things that made it feel like, now how do I still trust people and not let them hurt me? But then now I'm still dealing with an emotional side of it.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, I always say you can't love somebody and not be willing to allow them to hurt you. That's literally a part of love. Like literally, disappointment, that's regular. You know what I mean? That's normal. And it's because you set expectations, you don't share those expectations. So you, in your mind, you like, oh, they know what I want them to do. But you don't tell them. Because I am 99.9% sure ain't nobody wake up with mind reading pants on.
Right.
They don't wake up with a mind reader in their pillow. So if you don't tell somebody what you want from them, don't be mad when you don't get it.
Right. Nah, but it's gonna go back to the reality of, until you empty out your own hurt, how do you even know what you need? How do you know what you need? How do you know what you want? How do you know any of that? Because 9 times out of 10, until you deal with hurt and reconciling oneself, and even with relationships that need to be reconciled, you're moving out of a place where you're still trying to protect, I think, the hurt that you have dealt with.
Right.
Because now we become, I don't want to say comfortable, but we do. We become comfortable. Complacent, absolutely. With the hurt that
relationship killer, no matter what the relationship is, baby. It could be work.
It could be
relationship, romantic. It could be friendship. Any of those things. Complacency is a relationship killer, regardless of anything else.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest piece, people don't know how to give what they never got. That's even from production. They come in and like...
So listen, I've always said, because, you know, baby, Constance is not going... Listen, her grandkids could lay up on her, baby, but we couldn't, okay? It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I got older, I had children, and I realized my mother was primarily raised by her father.
Okay.
Raised on survival.
Yeah.
Raised on... Gotta get this done. Gotta make this happen. Gotta pay these bills.
That's deep,
Anything else, you know what I'm saying? Anything else is secondary.
Yeah.
Because you have food on your plate. You got a house with electricity and water. You know what I mean? These are all the primary things. These are things that were needed. So if you are not raised on that type of affection, how can I expect you to give it?
Bro, you talking?
And it's just one of those things. Like, and once I realized that, people who are raised on survival don't necessarily know how to receive or even give love sometimes.
Bro, you talking. You dropping bars, bro.
Hey. And that's something that you have to teach them.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to teach them. And it has to be somebody who understands, you know what, maybe I'm just a little short on what I need to give someone else.
Yeah.
When they acknowledge that, when they realize, you know what, maybe I do need to change my way, and they're willing to learn how to love somebody, how to show affection, how to do all of those things. Man, that's a match made in heaven. Shout out to Babe.
she got to get
shout out to Babe. Okay.
Shout out to Babe. Hey, real
shout
talk. Come on.
Shout out to Babe.
But what you're saying is facts, though.
Yeah.
But it also, again, that takes two parties that have dealt with self. Two people or relationships where people have been. And the crazy part about it, y'all, is it take courage to deal with your own hurt.
Absolutely.
It take courage to deal with how a situation has made you feel.
Absolutely.
That ain't something that's easy to do, because you got to go back and relive the moments where your feelings was hurt. You got to relive the moments where you was disappointed. You got to relive the moments where and that's even still dealing with grief. You got to relive every single moment.
Right.
You got to relive that.
Right.
That's not easy. That's hard to do, because if you've already dealt with the pain before, why do you want to go back and relive it? But people don't really realize that the courage that it takes for you to go back and dig deep into who you are and can go to the root. So many times we deal with topical issues, right? We got so many face value, man. We ain't dealing with nothing deep.
Yeah.
We dealing with all the stuff that's topical, but nobody is digging down into the soul that is then built up this tree that is not bearing the fruit that it needs to bear, because you only dealing with topical stuff. Oh, I'm gonna just say this, you know what I'm saying? My fasting has helped me. Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym so I can lose some weight, but let's not deal with the fact that the only reason why we overeating from time to time is because we're in our feelings.
Why are you talking about me so loud?
Bruh, I ain't talking about you so loud. I'm talking about myself. I need to go to the gym right now. Or let's just be real. If we so many drinking alcohol, right? How come every day we walk in the house, we taking a shot? We don't. And I'm talking about self.
Right.
I ain't talking about nobody else. I'm talking about self, because sometimes what we feel with our behavior, our actions, are the result of the things that we not dealing with.
Right.
And those is just topical stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They the result of the stuff that we won't deal with. We won't look in the mirror and really deal with us. But when you build up enough courage to deal with yourself,
do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work. Literally, do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Because people don't really realize, like, if you do the work, how much freer you gonna be, man. You know, dealing with so much freer that you're gonna be when you deal with the root and not deal with the fruit that's there. Because as soon as you deal with the root, y'all know when the roots come up, the trees is dead.
Because what I told you about my plant, remember what I told you, T? Y'all, I got a plant. Let me tell you something. It's alive, and he is alive and thriving. Yeah. However, I had forgot about him for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. He ain't had no water, no sun, no nothing. He was drooping all the way. And I saw him, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Baby, I gave him some water, some sun, honey. He's standing straight up now. And it's literally because I neglected him. I didn't feed him the way he needed to be fed.
Come on, Kay.
And he was on his way out. But he good now, y'all. My plant baby is alive.
Plant baby is alive.
But he was almost gone because I was neglecting him. I wasn't doing the work. I wasn't, pouring into him literally.
And the reality,
what he needed.
Where did the water go? Did the water go to the leaves?
No, he soaked it up.
He soaked it up from where?
From the root,
the
baby.
soul, and
from
the root,
soul.
and that's what brought back life.
Yes.
Come on, you preaching, and you don't even know
Girl,
it.
if you don't move to the left.
Y'all carry on here preaching,
to the
and you
left.
don't even know it. She
To the
in the
left, to the
building. You know what I'm saying? But no, what you saying is right, and I think that's the biggest piece is we really got to dig deep. And one of my chapters is being able to, in my book is talking about emptying out, man. Because when we empty out, we're no longer viewing people and viewing relationships from our hurt. Because now we can start identifying what category I need to put the people in that I'm now meeting from a healed place.
Yeah.
Because the issue is when we get healed or when we're dealing with hurt, everybody kind of has a space in your life that maybe they shouldn't even be allowed to occupy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people are meant to be there for forever.
For a reason and for a season, baby. You
Reason
better
for a
teach me
season.
something.
And then you got some people that's here forever.
Yeah.
Like my dog ain't going nowhere.
It's a forever type thing.
It's forever all
Here
day.
we are.
I got some friends, they not going nowhere. But I got people that I also came across that I could be very much so friendly with. I can trust them. I can lean on them, but everything wasn't meant for them to be able to carry.
Absolutely.
They didn't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah,
so when you walk away and you move away and it doesn't look like their image of what you supposed to look like, now who's offended?
Once again, expectations that are set that are not shared. Okay? Don't set expectations on me to be somebody that you want me to be without telling me what you want me to be for you.
Yeah.
Don't set those expectations and not share them because you're going to be disappointed every time.
Yeah. Nah, but it's factual. And that's again, my biggest piece that we talking about is being able to deal with oneself. If we could deal with oneself, man, you could deal with how to be able to maneuver through relationships, how to be able to treat people, how to allow yourself to be treated, right? Because if you looking in the mirror and you can say, man, something didn't feel right about how that conversation or how it came to me. Sometimes it ain't necessary for me to come and say that to you. Maybe it's just, let me remove myself because it's safer. And
is it safer or is it fear? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, because I also feel like when you are not, or when you don't have those conversations, so you got to teach them. You have to teach them. I said that before. You have to tell somebody what you want and give them the opportunity to give it to you. If they're not able to do that after they know exactly what it is that you want and need, if they can't give it to you after that, then you walk away.
You know what? And that can happen in any relationship. It could work. It could be a romantic
friendship, absolutely.
Business, whatever it may be. You got to be, because I remember I heard something on Instagram. It's this lady that was telling a story. She was saying something was going on, and she was talking about her best friend. She said she don't normally talk on the phone. I wish I knew her name so I could give a shout out, but you know, it is what it is. But what she said, no free promo. You right, my bad, dog. But what she said was, when she was going through a process where she had been hurt, she called her friend. And when her friend called her and checked up on her, she told her friend, she was like, I'm a little upset with you. And she was like, because I've been going through this and you didn't call and check on me. And she said, well, I know my friend. You don't like to talk on the phone.
Period.
You prefer to text or prefer to do X, Y, Z. And then the friend said to her, well, I need you to call me every day until I feel better.
Well, there we are.
That right there spoke to somebody being honest with self and being able to say what it is that they need.
Right.
Not assuming that her friend was supposed to know. Even though, Carrie tell me she going through something, I'm be like, dog, you need me? Or we good? Are we fighting? Are we not fighting? Are we going, what do you need me to do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the reality of the matter is being able to speak to what it is that you need and handling people in those relationships in manners that is for your own health.
Right, because what I try to do, so for whatever reason, and I saw this thing that kind of told me, but anyway, for whatever reason, people love to call me and be like, hey girl, and tell me their whole life story. Literal strangers will tell me their entire life story. And what I've learned to do when somebody is talking to you, venting to you, sharing with you, I now have to ask, do you want a resolution or do you just want to vent? Because if you just want to vent, I'm here for that. If you want a resolution, I'm here for that too. I just need to know how to respond to what it is that you're sharing.
Bro.
That's it.
That right there is deep.
Yeah.
Because we too many times be venting and ain't got no resolution. And we be going back doing the same thing.
Like when it comes to relationships, girl, let me tell you what this did. Okay, real quick, before we start this conversation, do you want me to slash his tires? Or are we just mad at him right now, but we gonna cook him dinner when he get home from work? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, just let me know what type of time we on, so I can move accordingly. Right. That's all I need to know. Let me know.
I'm not slashing nobody's tires, just so you know. Just so y'all know, I'm not doing that. But that's facts. It just
is what it is.
But the biggest piece is, let us know where we sitting. Right. But we need freaking a resolution.
Right.
when can we get to a resolution? Huh?
Hey, everybody. Our production told us we got to say, hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Listen, y'all, we being told what to do.
Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all, this is fly.
Thank y'all, Facebook,
like, really, this,
Instagram.
Yeah, this was just...
we on TikTok.
We on TikTok.
Bro, we on TikTok.
Oh, hit it. Ooh.
TikTok. Hey. Unfortunately, they're going to have a funeral.
Y'all, my daughter about to be real embarrassed, baby, because TikTok is her jam, okay? TikTok is her jam.
Appreciate y'all for joining, for sure. But no, I think that's the biggest piece, Carrie, is that what you said is getting it to a point where even if you bring it in, what's still the resolution that we're going to do?
But do you want a resolution?
Right.
Some people want to complain and they don't want a resolution. However, you got to be clear with yourself. Do I really want to resolve this? Or do I just want to talk about it with somebody who's not going to judge me for saying I want to slash some tires?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, come on,
That's all
dog.
it is. Like, do you really want to resolve it?
Yeah.
Or are you going to keep placing yourself back in misery? Back and forth into misery.
And what you said, you got to be real with yourself, bro.
Yeah, somebody said keep it 100, period.
Keep it 100
No,
all
like,
day.
you got to know what you want.
Yeah, and that's the biggest piece, man, is listen, the only thing we trying to do is say it's okay.
Yeah.
To feel how you feel. It's okay to have the emotions that you have.
You're entitled to
those. It's okay that you done been hurt. But what you gonna do about it? Yep. You gonna look in the mirror and continue to be the victim of the hurt that you had to bear?
Right.
Or are you gonna allow that to stop your life, or are you gonna find a way to move forward?
Yep.
How do you move forward? Deal with self.
Yeah.
Be real with
Take
self.
Accountability.
Take accountability on the stuff that you did, they did.
What you allowed them to do.
What you allowed them to do to you. Bro, and the biggest piece, like we look at ourselves, and it's okay when you look in the mirror and be like, I can't believe I let that happen to me.
Yeah.
Bro, that's some of the biggest things that people don't really... How did I let that happen to me?
Right, because you have to take accountability. How did I allow this person to treat me this way for so long? What was I drinking throughout the course of our relationship that I allowed this person to treat me this way for so long? You have to take accountability. You can't put anything on anybody else, because somebody will only do what you allow them to do.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent. If you continue to deal with it, they're going to be like, oh, you know what? I can slide this one in, and they're going to just keep perpetuating the same cycle.
Thing, yeah.
So yeah, you have to, absolutely.
Yeah, you got, and the fact of the matter, like Kira said, I think Kim put up here training. I see y'all. We're gonna learn how to be able to read.
Baby, that ain't gonna listen. No,
we're gonna put that on production.
We're not gonna walk and chew gum. They gonna have to read the comments and tell us what the comments say.
But people need, and that's the truest piece about it. And that's why I love Carrie. That's why I love Steph, love Tip. And I could go to my sisters, because you got to be able to have a place where you can go, be as real as you can be, non-judgmental, come to a resolution, but be okay with being you.
Because I'm going to judge you.
You are.
I'm going to judge you, and I'm going to judge you harshly. Because if you are coming to me with a scenario that we all saw coming, I told you was going to happen.
She telling the truth, though.
I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge you.
We
know I'm going to judge you, and I'm going exactly, because production know exactly what I'm talking about. Production know that if you come to me with a situation in which we can already predict what is going to happen, we can look back with a non-existent crystal ball right here and say what is going to happen, because 1 + 1 = 2. I am going to judge you. I'm going to judge you harshly, but I'm still going to help you. I'm still going to do everything that I can to facilitate. See, no, that was you though. You hit the camera. We didn't touch it. We're not moving.
Hands off.
Oh my God. Ooh.
That's all right.
Just put it right there.
I'm gonna just hold it.
Yeah.
Just sit it there.
No,
There we go, bam.
But yeah, regardless, I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge you, but I'm also going to, I'm going to help you. I'm going to do everything that I can do. I'm going to be your friend through it. I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to let you talk about it 1,000 times if you need to talk about it 1,000 times. And I'm going to judge you. It just is what it is.
Nah, and here's the truth of the matter. You need friends like that. Everybody needs friends like that. Yeah. Everybody needs somebody that's just going to be straight up honest with them all day.
Yeah.
But then also need that safe space. Because I might not come to Carrie immediately.
Who said they giving some judgment? That's because you don't want me to tell the truth.
I might not come to Carrie immediately.
Oh, look, his name is Black Phoenix. What's my name?
Whatever.
Rising Phoenix. You see that right now? Come on, Black Phoenix.
I might not
already
come,
know.
Yo,
I'm a judge.
I might not come to Carrie off the rip, right? Because and this is
she don't want me.
this is self, right? But that's gonna go back to me
Knowing,
being able to look in the mirror and be like, did I really let that happen?
Right.
Am I really ready to face that reality
right.
of the thing that I knew, but now I gotta hear, and then I have to wait until I'm able to receive it, right? Mm-hmm. That way, when she give me the raw, I'm not offended because I know that what she's saying is out of a place of love, right? And it's just more of like, I see you bigger and better than where you think you see yourself.
Right.
And you got to be able to get people like that in your corner that's going to be real with you.
Right.
That's going to be honest.
True.
But you got to deal with self. I don't care what nobody say. No. Like, it doesn't matter what we say, because too many times we be putting stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff all day long, thinking that it's going to produce something. Like, you know what I'm saying? They talk about I'm going to go to the Bible because I'm a preacher. I can't help it. But at the end of the day, they talked about where you planting seeds at. Some people plant it in fertile soil. Some people let it fall on the sidewalk, on the concrete. Some people let it fall over here where it gets weeded up. It gets the life choked out of it because you planted seeds that are producing fruit that it can't produce any form of life on it. The truth of the matter is, where are you dealing with? What is your root? What are you rooted in? If you rooted in nothing but self-pity and self-hurt and and unforgiveness and all of that, every relationship that you deal with is going to bear that fruit. Everything that you deal with from a person is going to bear that, and it's going to end in the result of that until you can honestly deal with you. Mm-hmm. And it ain't easy. Like I said, Kira, I had to go to therapy. Who told me to go to therapy? This person. I had to go to therapy after my mom passed, right? Because after her knowing me for so long, she knew when something in my person changed.
Right, absolutely.
Whether it was my attitude, whether it was my temperament, whatever it was. But because of something that happened in my life that I did not expect. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect to be 40 years old and not have a mama I could pick up the phone and call. Right. That changed my temperament. Mm-hmm. But the same thing with a relationship, right? Right. You didn't expect to be with somebody and maybe you expected marriage. And then it didn't turn into that. Right. You didn't expect it to end. Or you didn't expect a friendship that you held somebody at the highest regard that you held them in, and then they disappointed you, right? Mm-hmm. You didn't expect that. Mm-hmm. But the truth of the over here, Warren, you on there.
I think he did it by accident.
Okay, it's all good.
I'm right, Warren.
All right, Warren. I'm so sorry.
But
the issue is trauma things that happen to us. Trauma responses, and they show up on a variety of different ways, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, whether it's a variety of different things that we're dealing with. Right. They show up in many forms.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it was not until this person said, you got to go to therapy because you got to deal with some stuff that you ain't never dealt with. Right. And not only was it dealing with grief, but it also helped me deal with other relationship things, right. Whether it was people, whether it was work, whether it was professional, that can help me not to allow it to impact my person, right? My peace.
But that's what. But no, I wouldn't say not allow it to impact, because what you have to do is allow it to impact. Okay. And what you have to do is realize that when things like that happen, when relationships that you never thought would end. When you come out on the other side of it, you're a different person. Yeah. So the person that you are now is not the person that you were before January 26th. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to evolve into that person, because when a relationship ends, that person that comes out of that relationship, hopefully, is a completely different person that was there at the beginning of the relationship. Yeah. Yeah. Because the natural evolution of things have to occur. I hate when people say, oh my God, oh, never change. No, I want you to change. Mm-hmm. I want you to grow with me. I want you to grow for yourself, because I want you to be a better person when you walk out of my life than you were the day you walked in.
Bro, you deep.
I try to be.
You deep. You smart. You real smart over here.
You smart since you got your degree or whatever.
You smart over here, bro. You know what I'm saying? But no, I like it because That's true.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, you should be better. Or how do you navigate through the impact on you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How do you navigate or deal with the impact on you?
Right.
But it is going to change you at some point.
Absolutely.
It's going to change your person.
And you have to embrace that change. And that's where the healing comes in.
Talk
Because
here.
when you experience something you've never experienced before, how can one person experience something, or two people? So two people experience the same thing but perceive it differently. You have to heal in order to receive that change, because you're never going to be that same person. You're never going to be the person that you were before January 26th. You're never going to be her again.
And that's true, because and the crazy part is, before therapy, I used to be like, how do I get back to that person?
You're never going
to never get there.
You will never.
But that's all of the stuff that we deal with.
Yep.
Because we're trying to figure out, how do we get to the before the offense? How do we get to the before our feelings was hurt? How do we get to the before the grief part of it?
No.
How do we get to that? And we don't embrace the evolution of it making us better.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I got a little bit more courage. I feel like I got heaven pushing me. I got my mama that's up there talking, but it took me a minute to...
Let me tell you something, baby. When I got the phone call that I was going to be officiating her service,
Oh, bro.
I had to stop and breathe. And I said, how am I possibly going to do this? How am I possibly qualified to do? Who am I? I can't do this.
Bro.
I literally went through 1,000 emotions before I just had to sit, be still, and realize, if not me, then who?
Bruh. If not me, then who?
That's it.
Bruh.
Because Joy saying, who else would she want to do? You know what I'm saying? That's my girl. But that was something that I had to process, because I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was qualified.
And you did a justice too, Kay.
I tried.
Hey, we needed you, bro.
I tried.
Like, you don't even understand how bad we needed you there, bro. Like, all of us, all 5, 6, 7, 8 of us, everybody, we needed you there. But the truth of the matter is, all of those experiences, when dealt with the correct way.
Yes.
Not when dealt with trying to put stuff on top of stuff. Only thing we're trying to do is encourage ourselves, encourage each other, that in order for us to move forward, we got to deal with what can be hindering us.
Right.
Because if things still are tied to our past, and that's, we got loose, how they talk about, you got loose ends that need to be tied up. I'm guilty.
Tie them yourself. Tie them yourself.
Tie them yourself,
Make
dog.
a slip knot, baby, and keep it pushing. You don't need nobody else to tie them loose ends. Tie them yourself.
Yeah. You got stuff that need to be, you tie up on your own.
You know what? We can talk about next week. I
What's
just
that?
thought about this. I saw this thing recently that said closure doesn't exist.
Let me put it down on the
when you think about it, when you really think about it, needing to talk to somebody else for closure, it's not a real thing. I don't need to talk to you to close a chapter in this book, baby. I could close the chapter and burn the book by myself, okay? I don't need you to close this chapter. You know what I'm talking about?
You better talk, bro.
Because I've closed it. I've closed it. I don't need to talk to you so that you understand the way you made me feel in the situation. I don't need any of that. I can literally sit back, accept what it was, and move on. I don't need closure. Closure is non-existent. It don't exist. It's fake.
Man,
it's
that
fake.
is dope.
It's just an excuse to keep you tied and tethered to somebody who perpetually hurt you. I don't need no closure.
We putting that on here. That's deep. Hey, next week we talking about closure does not exist. We gonna dive deep, Kay. That's you. That's you all day, bro. You lead that. You got that. But listen, the only thing, like I said, bro, we're going to be back here next week on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. We're going to give y'all where you can subscribe to our podcast. Make sure y'all get the videos and send us any topics that y'all want to discuss. Hear us discuss, and we're going to work on reading y'all comments. I promise you we're going to do better. At the end of the day, the biggest piece that we really, really want in this conversation is to be able to find a way for us to go ahead and get some courage so we can move forward.
That's it.
Because in order for, whether you was in church and got prophesied to, whether you believe it because you wrote down your dreams, you got vision boards for 2025, whatever it may be, at the end of the day, in order to move forward, you got to deal with you. You got to deal with self.
You have to take
and you got to
accountability.
take accountability, create your boundaries, know what place relationships need to be in. Because not every relationship deserves the same place. Not every person you come in contact deserves the same place.
Oh, absolutely
When
not.
you learn you'll know where to place people. You know how close to keep them, how close you keep them, and how far you need to keep them, but close enough in reach.
Yeah.
And the biggest piece, we just want to encourage y'all, man, all day. Be okay to deal with you. Take the courage to deal with you so you can move forward and we can become better and we really can bring to fruition and manifestation the things that we declared, the things that we spoke into existence on January the 1st, what we want 2025 to look like.
You know what I want you to write down?
What's that?
I want you to write down.
You type it up.
Okay, I'll write it down later.
What?
Hey,
Tell me.
Constance.
What up, Constance? What up, sis?
Hey,
What, you gonna tell me?
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
You gonna tell me
Yeah,
later?
I'll tell you later.
All right. Hey, listen, I want y'all to know I appreciate y'all for joining in. I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Me and Carrie look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Same
we already got
time
the
next
topic. She said closure does not exist, so we're going to dive into that. But I love y'all. We're going to see y'all next week. Hey, give a shout out because I got two sisters and she in here in the production team. Pew, pew, pew. The ladies of Z5B. Sorority,
baby.
J16, shout out to the lovely ladies of what is it? Blue and white, right? Blue and white, the lovely ladies of blue and white. Shout out to them for their what is it called? What's the correct terminology? Zeta Phi Beta Sorority. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Founders Day for the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated Founders Day on tomorrow, January the 16th. All right. But I want y'all to know that we love you. As always, I love you so much with the love of Christ. We look forward to seeing y'all next week. Carrie, holler at them real quick. Give your outro.
Okay, bye.
We're going to holler at you. Thank y'all. Hey. Good.
I don't think this is recording the whole time. Hey, girl.
You know what's crazy?
Hi.
How you stopping?
How are you?